Welcome back to World History with Mr. McCall. Today what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at our roadmap. And we're going to see where we're headed and what we're going to be studying for the next few weeks. So let's start by talking about what we've already been talking about. The first thing we started with was a unit on patterns of population. And what did we study with that? Well, we started with early hominids. We talked about hunters and gatherers. We talked about how did they develop, how did the development of agriculture change daily life in the Neolithic age, the New Stone Age. They didn't have to chase their food all the time. We talked about the rise of Sumerian city-states. How did geographic challenges lead to the rise of city-states in Mesopotamia? Talked about irrigation systems and how they all had to work together. So what we're going to be talking about now is ancient Sumer. And specifically, we're going to be trying to decide what is a civilization. All right. So the first thing we need to discuss is the essential question. All right. Our essential question for ancient Sumer is going to be, why do historians classify ancient Sumer as a civilization? We're going to discuss exactly what is required for something to be called a civilization. Now, as always, the key vocabulary, you have to know it. To be successful, you're just going to have to know all the key vocabulary. So we have civilization, social structure, the way society is organized. Technology, any tool that helps you get a job done. Merchant, people that sell goods or services. Artisans, people that work with art, it's in the name. Scribe, people that write. Ziggurats, which are similar to pyramids for the ancient Sumerians. They're temples, the center of the city-state. Culture, people's belief systems. Cuneiform, which is the first system of writing that comes out of ancient Sumer. And pictographs, which is kind of a predecessor to writing. That's a lot of vocabulary, but we'll get it. All right, next up, we're going to discuss some different artifacts, and we're going to look at these artifacts and see what they can tell us about civilizations. Specifically, we're going to look at some artifacts from ancient Sumer. We're going to see if those can prove that it was a civilization. Next up, we're going to take a look at some different agricultural inventions that came out of ancient Sumer. Then we'll be discussing religion and the social political order. Now, something in ancient Sumer that we're going to discuss is how religion actually helped their leaders stay in power. Because their leaders were not just political leaders, they were also religious leaders, which is different than what we have today. Today we have our political system and then we have our religious system. The two are separate. The United States was actually founded on a separation between church and state. Ancient Sumer was not. Next up, we're going to discuss the evolution of writing. We're going to talk about how ancient Sumerians went from using pictographs, which are like pictures that represent each different idea, and how they changed from that into cuneiform, which is a wedge-shaped system of writing. And finally, we're going to finish up by asking this question. Is the United States civilized? We're going to find out what it is that is required to have a civilization. Then we're going to ask ourselves, can we prove the United States is a civilization? We'll see how we do. Hopefully, we are all part of a civilization, but we'll see. We'll have to prove it. So this is what we'll be studying for the next week or so, couple weeks. Now, what are we going to be studying next? Well, after this, we're going to be moving to the geography and early settlement of India. right here. And then we'll be ready for a brand new unit, economic networks and exchange. But that is for another day. I hope this has been edifying. This is World History with Mr. McCall. Take care.